Let's go.
What's poppin', y'all? Drake is catching some stealing allegations, and this isn't the first time.
Stealing?
It's been nearly it hasn't. It has been nearly 10 years
Drake
actually.
stealing niggas
enough.
out.
But I'll say like 8 years or so since XXXTentacion accused him of taking the "Look at Me" cadence flow on KMT off of. Actually, it has been 10 years. That's More Life, right? When KMT came out. Wow. Now another South Florida rapper that was likely inspired at least a bit by the movement that XXXTentacion had going on is 1900 Rugrat. And 1900 Rugrat comes out and accuses Drake of jacking his stuff in a story time on TikTok from his first album.
All right, so I got a story time because I just listened to ICEMAN and Drake. You got me up, bro. Not gonna lie, you got me up. So when I made the intro to my first album about a year and a half ago, Drake was hitting me up around the time and wanted to hear music, a Drake producer. So I sent 10 songs through, and they was all finna be on my album because I didn't want nobody to steal my shit because I know how people move. So, boom. The one they took a liking to was the intro. Now the intro.
How this nigga talk funny as hell, bro. Because I just be, oh, man.
All finna be on my album because I didn't want nobody to steal my shit.
I can't even say shit. I'm gonna get a hate thread on me, bro.
So,
I can't even say
the
shit.
one they took a liking to was the intro. Now the intro still dropped. I said, no, you can't have this song. He wanted me on his album still. He said, I'm gonna send you a verse through. Never sent the verse. I didn't give a till I just went and listened to ICEMAN, and I listened to Little Birdie, and then I went back and listened to the intro of my first album. Twin. That's the only beat I've ever produced and sat there and produced. Don't rip my and repitch it like that, fam. That's fried. That's fried out. And
so off rip, a couple of different things and some context. This guy, 1900 Rugrat, he blew up.
Only one?
He really blew up off of One Take Freestyle.
Pre-Me Too? Pre-Drake did it to Me Too? Hella niggas pop out the woodworks?
And he blew up from the clip getting surfacing around everywhere after he did his Gabe's on the Radar freestyle. Him and then
and chat. Let me say this. Now, I'm not defending this nigga Drake either. I don't give a fuck about Bro either. I don't give a fuck about none of this shit, my nigga. If it ain't non-vicious, I don't care. I don't.
a couple of months later, like Georgiana, she blew up off of that too. So One Take Freestyle went crazy, but it's almost at 100 million streams too. But before that, 1900 Rugrat was grinding on TikTok, consistently doing freestyles daily. Like, this guy would just put the camera down. It's a very inspiring story. I did a video on my main channel about him and a couple of other acts. I think it was called like something Why Every Rapper Needs a Gimmick or something like that. I'll actually be sure to link it this time. And that'll give you more context on him. The point is, this guy never needed anybody else, never tried to clout chase anybody else, never tried, even after he got on, and some people will say he like quote unquote fell off. I don't think that's the case. I think he just settled into his fan base. You look at the streams on two of his
I'm about to say, when niggas like don't like do like the blow up numbers that they seen, they be like, oh, bro fell off. Bro, he's getting 700K monthly, nigga. That's great. That's great. Now he's not pulling 2 to 3 like fucking people that we know, but like, sure.
Right, like his first album and his second album, like he's getting in the hundreds of thousands of streams. No Songs is doing under 100,000. And he signed, he's got seems like a JV deal or something like that with 300. You never heard him complain about his deal. So he seems to be in a settled position and happy with where he's at. That's just the context out there that this isn't some rapper. Because everyone, once they hear this, especially if they're Drake stans and they're just going to run to defense, they're going to accuse a small artist like this. Number one, oh, he don't know you, lil bro, which is goofy. Drake knows everyone and everything that's happening in the game that's even remotely shaking anything up. So yeah, he knew who 1900 Rugrat was. And the second thing they'll do is say, oh, this person is clout chasing. Oh, they're trying to get their streams up. They're trying to get their career. Well, how is this guy clout chasing when we've never seen him clout chase off of anybody before? Like, it would have to be a habit for us to be like, okay, this guy's done this in the past. Like, for instance, this one girl that was trying to clout chase off of Ice Spice that makes music, and she was the one that was friends with her. I remember her name is escaping me off the top of my head, but she had that whole stunt in Target,
who you
where
talking
she had
about,
like
though.
25 different people and was saying, "Oh, Target was kicking me out because I filmed the music video there. Like they're racist." So that is an example of somebody that's
R-word.
constantly
They
trying to
R-word.
drum up this attention. 1900
Come on, bro.
Rugrat is not that. So there
First
are
5
two things that
minutes.
we got out the way. So of course, a bunch of people are coming after him for this. And keep in mind, we've seen behavior like this from not just Drake, because he's not the only one that's guilty of this, from other people in the industry. So he drops a DM after this, and he drops a DM exchange and says, "I know the tape about to go effing nuts." Keep in mind, 1900 Rugrat had not dropped the tape yet. Porch to the pen, which is
he
his
put it
nuts.
hard on that
Keep in
bitch
mind.
though. Like he like, all right, bet the tape finna go crazy. All right. Maybe he didn't know like bro is finna jock his whole swag and not give him a credit on that motherfucker.
1900 Rugrat had not dropped the tape
just
yet.
finessed
Porch
his
to the
ass.
Pen, which is his first tape, dropped on
Hey, that
February
shit hot, you
28th,
see-
2025.
yeah, send me some of
Drake
that.
DMs him February
And then that nigga
25th,
remixed it and put it on his
2025.
album,
3 days
and it go
before the
number
tape
one?
drops.
Ain't
So
gonna-
what does
you
that
gotta
tell
slime
you?
his
That
ass
tells
out.
you that Drake is paying attention. The dates line up here perfectly. And don't go and tell me like, "Oh, nah, he photoshopped the dates." You're just reaching at that point.
gotta slime
Let's
him,
be
19.
honest here. I got another
Go
video
ahead.
coming out where I talk about how Drake is getting screwed by his label
I ain't
really
gonna lie,
badly.
you can't
And I
even-
hate what they're
you
doing.
can't slime his
But we
ass
have
out.
to be fair. And he
I'm
says,
tweaking. That's the
hopefully
wrong
we
nigga
can
to
get one
slime
for
out,
the
bro.
album. I talked to Gordo.
I got you, buddy.
I was about to say DJ Mustard, formerly known as DJ Carnage. He told me the other ish was the intro. I was hype off that ish, but I know that feeling when you already done. So we'll cook up if anything. So he's talking about the intro to that track, to the album. And he's saying like that's already out there. So I think Drake wanted it for himself.
Wait. I appreciate it. I ever said that lyrics again. My first ever social media.
Or he wanted to do something with it. And he's like, "Damn, Gordo was telling me that you already got that one on the intro on your album." And he says, "So we'll cook up if anything." And then Rugrat says, "What? I appreciate you understanding, bro. I just know
Look at
I
the
can't
caption
ever
though. I ain't here to lie. And if I'm wrong. Everything just fishy.
say those lyrics again. And this is my first ever tape, so it was special for me, you know, more than appreciative." And Rugrat feels like that on the song Little Birdie, Drake just kind of like took the beat and pitched it. This is what will happen. So he's like, "Okay, you don't want to give me that? Say less. Yo, hop in the producers. You guys make something similar to this." So that's just usually what ends up happening, unfortunately. And even in Lil Birdie, like my opinion, when I listen to Lil Birdie and I listen to Intro by 1900 Rugrat, they are distinctive. I don't really hear.
Wait, Chad, is that the song that we was saying like that's the Kodak flow? Like, is that the song that we talking about? That bro saying that he stole?
too much of a similarity.
Or
Now,
is
I
it,
only
like,
did
some
this
shit from the
once.
other
Maybe
three
I got to
albums
listen
that
to
we
it a
didn't
couple
listen
of
to?
more
If it's
times.
something from
But I'm
that-
just being
from
fair.
that
I don't
episode-
notice.
If it's anything from the episode 4 and it's the song that they saying that sound like Kodak with the nigga that looked like Kendrick that was dancing off perks and shit, then I can see that. But if they talking about anything else, I don't know.
Similarity,
Me
a
not know.
glaring similarity,
Me not know,
but
too.
that does not mean that I think 1900 Rugrat is lying. That doesn't mean I think 1900 Rugrat is tripping. I don't think he's tweaking off of that. He's in his right to believe something like that. And on top of that, what makes me lean more towards 1900 Rugrat's side of things is that Little Birdie sounds like a Kodak Black reference track. And not just a Kodak Black, but
Yeah.
like a lot of
Okay. See, I'm not tweaking. And why did this always happen, bro? I literally say some shit and then like 15 seconds later, like everything I just said gets said. What the fuck?
Birdie sounds like a Kodak
Okay, I
Black
wasn't tweaking.
reference
This is
track.
exactly
and not
what I
just a
just
Kodak
said.
Black, but like a lot of people from that area, Pompano Beach, I believe, which is where
Pompano.
1900 Rugrat, he definitely comes from a similar area to Kodak Black. That's what they sound like. So it would be unsurprising for 1900
playing with
Rugrat
them
to
niggas.
be
Them niggas
wrong about
dangerous.
this. So I think he is right. The problem is when you're in a situation like this, you can do one of a couple of things because this is a power move. And this is not big bank, take little bank, but it's like big fish. It's just there are certain countries, right, where you can own your land.
It's the SE
quote
shit.
unquote,
It's the
but
SE shit.
If it's a monarchy or something like that, if the king wants the land,
no
he's
smoke,
going to get
Z.
the land. And he may come to you and say, "Hey, look, we want this land. I want to build a castle here." And this is actually has happened. "I want to build a castle here. How much would you like for the land?" And then the individual might
What is he
say,
talking
"Oh,
about?
no, I don't want to sell it. Like, I've lived here. My family's had this land." He's like, "No, how much do you want for it?" He's like, "Oh, well, I don't want to sell it." The thing is, you're being offered it as a courtesy. So they're willing to pay you. The thing is, the monarch in this regard is saying, I'm going to get that, but I'm going to offer you either a courtesy and we can work together and I can give you a handsome compensation for what you have there, or I can flex my muscle and say, well, that's actually mine because I run this country. So everything
I see the
is
correlation.
mine, regardless of whatever little
That's
paper you have says. And what are you going to do? Sue me about it? You see, I think that's the situation with Drake here, where Drake is saying, yo, you know, we can collab on this. Like, could we get something working? And then he's like, listen, man, you know, I just can't do it. He's like, oh, you can't do it? Well, I have the vision for my ICEMAN album and the song Little Birdie, and that's a part of the vision. So you can either be a part of this vision, which you chose not to, or, and now I will just take it into my own hands. And if you're 1900 Rugrat, in that case, you have two options. You either take Drake up on his offer and you do your best and you take the L, I guess, take it on the chin, or you shut up and never speak of it again. And maybe try to reach out to him and be like, yo, Little Birdie sounds sick. Like, you just keep the relationship. Because what 1900 Rugrat does here, it's understandable from an artist perspective. Like, he's, I wouldn't say heartbroken.
So this all about Rugrat?
Taking it too far, but he's hurt by this. He's like, damn, man, like, this is my, like, he even says it. I sat down there, that's like the first beat that I really made. Like, that's my baby. It's from my first album, my intro, and he just like took that. And
I'm expecting some
unfortunately,
controversy soon,
you had to
though.
keep that on the chin, because coming out publicly with it, now you're dead to Drake. Drake can't ever work with you now. And you're showing DMs exchange between you guys too. So that's just a bad look, unfortunately. And I get why he did it, but he had two options in that scenario. And the option was to take the L. But I don't blame 1900 Rugrat for keeping it for his album, because the thing is, he doesn't need Drake. And I like that he's not foaming at the mouth to work with somebody of that caliber. And granted, we have seen people like Kodak Black be able to mend their relationship with Drake, or Drake still be cool with Kodak, even though Kodak Black has said stuff like, yo, until he ready to work on an album, I'm not really interested in all that love. Like, he giving 21 Savage features. Kodak Black and 21 Savage have had quite a history of their own. So that's where that is. Unfortunately, at the current moment for 1900 Rugrat, he's not at the level of a Kodak Black, which Kodak Black is goated. I don't hear any disrespect regarding him. So yeah, I do think 1900 Rugrat is telling the truth. I personally don't really hear it too much in the beat. But hey, look, I'm not a producer. Maybe my ears are trash. Y'all let me know in the comments.
That's the A&R
like,
job,
subscribe,
my boy.
And hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And I'm going to see y'all on the next one.
I'm going to hit that like. You know what I'm saying? I enjoy it. I'm going to hit that like button.